So, welcome to the show, Deepthi Rana. I'm really thrilled to have you here. This is a show called Purpose Talk Splash. And I invite entrepreneurs who are aspiring and current entrepreneurs who have something to share, excited about their journey. And my intention is to create a community of entrepreneurs. So, I warmly welcome you, Deepthi, on the show. How are you doing?
I'm very well, and thank you so much, Varna, for having me here. I'm equally excited actually because I've been going through your post, and I know you have a large community now. So it's a pleasure to be here.
And I'm super excited to hear your story today. So, Deepthi, can you introduce yourself, something personal and anything that you have done till date that you'd like the audience to know?
Right. So, I'm from India, as is quite obvious to everyone. We are a family of four. That means me, my husband, and two children. So both my children are settled now. They're working overseas, and strangely enough, we all started with science background. But now my daughter is in a policy advisory role, and my son is a banker, and my husband is very different. So basically, we all drifted to our own passion, I would say. I have a background in physics, and I worked for a few years as an editor and a magazine supervisor, where we both met also, me and Varna.
Yes.
And then I moved on to become a designer, interior designer. And I would say my background of physics and working as an editor add to my skill as an interior designer.
Yes, truly. As you say, now it all comes back to me, those times we spent together in Cairo.
Yes.
And we just got to know each other, but it is such a beautiful thing that we still keep in touch, and we have so much more things to share. All of us have now grown. So tell me, Deepthi, what inspired you to take interior designing as your passion, as your entrepreneurship, and when did this all start?
So I would say it all started long back when I was pretty young in my school days. So I come from a kind of joint family where females are quite innovative. Even my, aunts and my mother, and they had a very keen eye on the details in the household. So it's all we were not allowed to waste anything. So wasting in the sense you don't have to use it just like that. Use it creatively. So basically, I would say my house used to be meticulous because my mother is of that kind. And then gradually, while studying physics, and then I used to teach also. So creative part we basically started from very beginning. And I think most of us as females, we are homemakers inherently. We would like to have a place where we enjoy, love, and emotionally and physically feel satisfied. So, and then gradually, while teaching also, I used to like using hands-on projects, creating, basically because I come from a physics background, creating experiments. So that is how I enjoyed teaching. And then when I started working as an editor, the most satisfying role, creating the layout, thinking about which ad is going where. Of course, it requires going through the content and everything. But which cover and hence the color scheme and font and harmony of the whole thing. I enjoyed it, and gradually during that time also I used to help my friends to design their houses, their rooms as a hobby.
Oh, I see.
So call me, can you just come and help us? So
and then
really? Yes, from there, and now we are at a certain age where we are free of most of our other responsibilities, and this is the perfect time in our lives where you have experience and knowledge and confidence to pursue whatever you want to. So that is
Okay.
how this is the
Nice.
perfect time.
Nice to know from where it has all stemmed. And, it's amazing to know how our cultures and how our upbringing also has such an impact on how we look at things and how we create. And yes, I would also like to add that, the magazine did get a different look. It had you in it. And
Thank you.
it was unlike the previous times, which also had another look. But I
Yeah.
think, what speaks for you really came out in that. And I do appreciate a lot of those covers as well. I still have a couple of magazines myself,
Thank
to
you.
get nostalgic.
Thank you.
So now that, you have embarked on this journey, would we go ahead and look at a little video that you have, kept for us? So that our audience can also see what you're up to
Right.
as of now. Yeah. So
Yeah,
here
sure.
we go.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Deepti. I really love the before and after. And
Thank you.
I could see a big difference from what it was looking like before and what it's after. And now that you've just started on this journey, do you have some accomplishments and some challenges that you would like to share with us?
Yes, definitely. I feel very happy when people I work for, and
Yes.
just by their expression, it all tells me that they are actually happy. It was my first project, and it was e-design consultation. I designed somebody's house in Canada.
Mm.
So, and they are a young couple with a very young kid, very active kid. So they asked me to design their house, starting with the kitchen. So I still remember I designed the kitchen, and I knew that they have this very energetic boy, and because I knew the background, I knew exactly what they should be having after having this experience of life and doing this work. So I
Yeah.
made a couple of changes in did their kitchen, and I said this is how it should be. There should be a folding table where your kid can eat, and then you can hide the other stuff underneath, and they should be. I mean, whatever changes I made, and she was overjoyed.
Imagine.
And she said,
I mean, there would have
"Yeah."
been very clever changes that she would have appreciated so much, and things to come very naturally from somebody rather than making an effort ourselves.
So,
yeah. What are the challenges that you've faced so far?
Everything you are doing yourself is very smooth going. When you are taking up a complete project, I mean, people don't stick to, I mean, I'm talking about tradesmen and carpenter and other tradesmen. I mean, it's very difficult to trust, especially about the deadline.
Yes.
And that's one thing. And secondly, you see their work, it looks all right. But when the other person is working under you, you cannot just leave it. You have to just be there and micromanage, basically. I mean, there are times that I have to actually teach them that this is not a straight line. It can't be straight. I have to tell them, no, you're not skilled in that area. So I'm learning that. So you can be careless. I mean, there are times when you find the person is very careless and not paying attention to details. But at times I've also found that they are negligent. They don't value these things. So it is very, very challenging. What you are saying is very important for me. If you say I'll get it done by tomorrow, so I will assume that, I mean, my mind works like that. It is tomorrow. It cannot be day after.
Because
Yeah.
that is exactly how business is. You have to
Right.
work on trust, otherwise it is harder to convince your
Absolutely.
people that your word means everything to you and you will deliver as per you say. So yes, I can resonate with that. Well, my next question for you is, if people would like to get in touch with you on social media, could you list a few of your social media handles so that they can connect with you directly? And
So I would love to have people connecting me through emails.
okay,
So they can email me, and second one is Instagram. They can message me because I'm very active on these two. I have a Facebook page as well. If somebody is not comfortable with Instagram, then they can connect.
yes, please, if you could just send it to me, then so folks, I will have Deepti's social media handles listed on my post, and also you'll be able to connect with her. So Deepti, while you have already given us now your social media handles, can you tell me what kind of programs, or rather what do you offer? Like,
yes, I do offer design consultation. It can then there are two parts of consultation. It's e-design basically. So, or you can call it e-virtual design. So I do a design consultation, and there are various details of that. So so if somebody is interested and gets in touch with me, I can give more details as to, depending on their budget, what exactly would be beneficial for them and how we are going to be working together.
yes.
So that's true. And then I do a complete project as well, with or without material. I do both. So in both
So
the
you
cases,
mean-
the supervision is mine. Even if I'm not working, I'm doing the whole project, but material and contractor is of the client, but I will be there for supervision. So, so that's how I work.
Okay. So it means to say that you have even like a simple consultancy to start with. Right from that, then I can just probably even ask you only for drawings, or if I want you to implement, you will do just one room as well.
Yes,
and you are also available for the entire project.
Yes,
where you take responsibility. So that's a wonderful way that people can connect with you, because I guess at times people just want a trial. But honestly, after seeing your video, the before and after says it all. I mean, it is very clear that there's a stark difference between what it looks like and what it now looks like, what it used to and what it now looks like. So, like besides this, in our entrepreneurship, you had this plan. You wanted to be an interior designer. You're already on your path, and there are certain things we all do in a way that we are known for it.
Yes,
like
unique to yourself, basically.
Yes, one thing that I picked from our conversation before was that you are a person of your word.
Oh, thank you for that.
Yeah, if there is anything else that people can be just absolutely rest assured that things will be done in a particular way, what do you stand?
Right. I mean, there is a difference between interior decorator and interior designer. Usually, you will have interior decorators, they'll come and base things and all that. Interior designer has a much more deeper role to play. I mean, that architectural aspect as well as, and then your creativity. So that requires looking at a project through lens of cultural context, basically. So what kind of, when I say cultural context, if I'm working in Canada, for example, their cultural context is very different from what we have in India. So I need to have that understanding of that. Also, I mean, the background of the client. And since interior designer's role is more of emotional nature, so because you are designing somebody's house, so you need to think about emotional as well as physical well-being of your clients, basically. Then sustainability and reuse of material comes into picture. So that is my, I should say, forte. I would ask the client that would you want to use whatever is available in your house, maybe in a slightly different way. So maybe I upcycle it and redo it for you, because we are all attached to our things surrounding us. So that will take care of emotional well-being, and that will help me because I'm totally into sustainability. So I would love to use whatever, basically reuse whatever is available there. And as far as designing is concerned, whatever we have been storing since years has much more value than what we can get today. So
very true.
Get the quality also. So why not reuse it? So sustainability is one. Secondly, when we talk about emotional and physical well-being, I'm very much concerned about the kind of materials, and for example paints and PVC materials, or different kinds of materials being used. So some are safe and some are very unsafe. So I'm very much, but even if the look is slightly compromised, not fully obviously, then I will definitely go for the healthier option. So my focus is sustainability and well-being of my clients. And they have been happy so far. Fingers crossed about the future. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, see, honestly, for me also, I wouldn't really understand unless, somebody like you spoke to me and told me that I think about the well-being, I think about the emotions, and, it is all an experience that the person goes through. And like you said, the home is where your heart is, right? So you are going to get joined with all sorts of emotions. And I still remember that while I was getting our house made, I made sure that there was a little wooden part which was chiseled by my daughter in Cairo with our family name. And no matter how it looked, it had so much of love in that I told her, whatever happens, you keep that safely, because that's going to go on the outside of my house. So concerned about the emotions, because I guess that is something that is so closely linked to every brick in the house, because a house built with a lot of effort, love, and you want the right kind of energy around, and the feeling that it's your home.
Absolutely.
So it's a beautiful thing that you just mentioned about well-being, because that is something, it would not come off my head just like that. And I'm sure our viewers also do resonate with what you're speaking, because they would appreciate even reusing what they have rather than somebody just coming to discard whatever is there. And as an entrepreneur, Deepti, would like to ask you, what is the message you have for the world?
I'll tell you what I do keep thinking in my mind all the time is that, people who can afford can hire a designer, or maybe even if they don't hire, they'll just go out and buy nice stuff and try it. I mean, they can manage a livable and beautiful place. I keep thinking about the people who can't afford. Like, for example, I have my caretaker living in outhouse. So at times, it might be annoying for them to these two chairs outside and create a nice a place for yourself and clean this area, use this bulb. They keep saying, "Aapne to hame ye sikha diya, aapne to wo sikha diya." But I'm sure they are happy because they are a young couple and they are still learning. So I would one day want to create beautiful places around me, not only to people who can afford, only people who cannot. Everybody deserves a space. So coming back to your question, the message for the world is that please try and do as much as you can and create a beautiful place. I mean, these are big words, but in your own tiny little way, if you can do that, that's amazing.
No, that's so true. Yeah. I can also imagine that, the caretaker feels taken care of by you, and that you're nurturing a relationship there, not only as human beings, but also through this passion of yours. So I truly get
Right.
fascinated listening to such, because it adds a lot of purpose to your entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
People who come with a very soulful message, there for a specific purpose, and that is a fulfillment.
Right.
So, Deepti, we could wind up. There are three very important questions that I must ask. You can take your time to answer it. And so, what is your vision for your business, D and Company? What is then your mission? If you have a 5 or a 10-year plan, like what is your mission in this
Right.
time? And finally, what is that legacy that you are building in
Right.
D and Company?
Okay. My vision is, build a team of people. Expand my business and build a team of people who are reliable, trustworthy, and efficient. Focus is until you have a very good team, and it's with good moral values, good work values,
Ethics. Yes.
work ethics. So your vision is bound to fail. And if the mindset of my team, which I'm trying to build, has to be very important. They should be open-minded and ready to learn. Like I am doing a course in IIT now. That's about futuristic interior design, because we are heading to smart homes and all that. So I'm just here to explore whether these futuristic designs are also going to help in sustainability. So that's I am ready to learn, then I would want people around me to be ready to learn too. And that is how my mission is. My aim is to be able to inspire young people to not only create wealth, but also create moral and ethical wealth as well. So and that can happen only through my example. The way I lead myself.
Correct. Yeah. So you want to be a role model to youth, to find purpose in actually what they do, more than just trying to survive.
Absolutely.
And I guess it's all a difficult part for them initially, because for them they need to survive first and then find their purpose. So I'm sure, looking at your journey, the way that you have considered every part that you learned something to do with what you're currently doing, where you are purposefully using your passion into making a difference to others and other people's lives by just setting up a beautiful, comfortable place called home. Finally, what is the legacy that you would want to leave back?
The legacy which I would want to leave is that understanding of the fact that if you're honest and you are highly focused and you are outstanding in your work area, you can achieve anything. This understanding, if I'm able to impart, so that's a big legacy. And young people and people around you, they understand that honesty, being focused, and being expert in what you're doing. There's no way you can be left behind. So
that's so true. That's so true. It's one of the most hardest things to do. And after we have gone through our journey, we have realized that ultimately these things matter the most. So a youngster might be on that same journey that we traveled, and but you come at the right time for them to show them that this is how that change can be made possible. And I really commend you for bringing that out, for actually now wanting to relive your passion, making that difference to others, which to me really matters the most as well. So with all this, I thought I would like to have a little bit of a cracker round for you, where I just ask you something, I just put one word and you must say the first word that comes to you. Right? So what does success mean to you? One word.
Happiness.
Okay. If your company had to have a mascot, what would that be?
First thing which came to my mind was a flower.
Oh, and why flower?
I'm yet to find a person who doesn't smile by looking at a beautiful flower. Probably that's why.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, okay, okay. Energizer of the day.
Oh, tea.
Okay, I was thinking you would say coffee. Okay. Okay, a dream vacation.
Oh, that's actually that's still a dream. Lapland, where Santa Claus is supposed to.
It is surely a dream. I guess it's for me as well. I haven't seen that, but yes, I've heard so much about it. It's beautiful.
Yes.
And finally,
yes.
Finally, what is that 5 words that you can use for your entrepreneurship to explain to the world what you really are?
Okay. So, creative, accountable,
yes,
emotionally bonding, and insightful.
Yes. Okay.
And what should I say? There are so many words.
One last word, but like something that's prominent. Resourceful. Yes, bang on. I guess, it was a wonderful crack around. It wasn't, meant to this.
That was fun, actually.
Thank you so much, Deepti. I will be, putting up all your social media handle information on my post. And dear viewers, if you are keen to follow Deepti, she's available on the Instagram, on Facebook. Knowing her personally has been an amazing journey for myself. You can convert your feelings into, a physical space would really create magic for you. Thank you, Deepti, for this wonderful interview. I had really inspiring moments from. I wish you all the best. I hope that your mission, your vision, and the legacy flourish and make you a super entrepreneur. So all the best to you, Deepti. And
thank you, Varna.
Everything that's coming to you in future.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Varna. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, so folks, look forward to many more such episodes and wonderful entrepreneurs with a purpose. See you. I sign off now, your host, Varna Pinto. Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye. Thank you.